What's good, YouTube? It's Darren, the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. On today's video, we're going to be jumping into the top 15 fragrances that I'm going to be wearing. And these are coming from my niche collection. So these are going to be 15 niche fragrances from my collection that are going to be my top 15 this year. Guys, I want to say, I know you probably noticed my backdrop is a little bit different. Hey, we had the room painted, and I still have to put together some additional bookshelves and things of that nature, but I'm gonna be getting that back together. So this is what we got for today, but I hope you guys still are going to enjoy this list. Now, like I said, I'm doing 15 this year. My collection has grown and I have a lot more fragrances to choose from, and there's a lot more that I want to get my hands on. Plus, I know everybody else is gonna do a top 10 anyway, so this is gonna be a little bit different, a top 15. So if you wanna see what made the list this year, my top 15 niche fragrances that I plan on wearing this upcoming spring, then you know the routine, man. Keep it locked right here.
The Bowtie Fragrance Guy.
All right, we're back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked, man. Let's go ahead and jump into the video. I'm gonna try to be a little bit quicker on my descriptions of these fragrances because we have 15 instead of 10 to make sure that we can get our way through this list. Thank you guys for all the positive feedback on the new intro. I hope you guys like it. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while now, which is do more of a professional, upgraded intro for the channel. So I hope you guys like it. Now with that stuff out of the way, man, let's go ahead and jump into this list. So the first fragrance up on the list today, this fragrance comes from the house of Parfums de Marly, and this is called GREENLEY. GREENLEY, and if you guys saw my designer fragrance list, if you didn't, I will make sure I link it either up here or somewhere down in the description, because I think you should check out the designer video as well. I mean, should get recommendations, both designer and niche. But this is the perfect fragrance to wear for the spring. I talked about this in my designer fragrance video. Green fragrances. When I think about spring, I think florals, I think green, I think color starting to come back out in the outside. So again, green, fresh cut grass is coming back. You know, flowers are growing on the trees. And this fragrance right here is green from the bottle presentation to the fragrance itself. Now it's classified as a citrus aromatic fragrance because it has this very, I would say, fruity green opening. So you have green apple, you have Calabrian bergamot, as well as some mandarin orange. So it's a very fruity opening. It starts to get spicy in the heart of this fragrance. But it's just a good one to wear again for the springtime. This again is a perfect fragrance for the spring, from the bottle to what's inside of it. So check it out from the house of Parfums de Marly. Again, this one is called GREENLEY. All right, guys, so coming in at the 14th spot on the list this year, this one comes from the house of Atelier des Ors, and this one is called Riviera Drive. Riviera Drive. This one is also classified as a citrus aromatic, but this is very unique, man. The main notes to my nose in this fragrance are going to be that lemon in the opening and rosemary. And then when it dries down, you get some cedar wood and musk. Really, those are the primary notes to my nose. But again, it's just a great one to wear if you're looking for something for the springtime. And I think at the price point that you can find these fragrances from this house, I think it's a really good entry point fragrances from this house to look at on the niche side of things. So check it out from the house of Atelier des Ors. This one is called Riviera Drive. All right, guys, now coming in at the 13th spot, if you love fig, then this is going to be the fragrance for you. This one comes from the house of Diptyque, and this is called PHILOSYKOS. PHILOSYKOS, and this one is again for people that love the note of fig. This is a fig lover's dream. I think they list the note of fig leaf, and also fig tree. So we got that on fig tree in this bottle right here. So you already know what that's about, man. You get that fig. When I talk about fig, I always say fig to me gives a kind of creaminess to a fragrance. It's a kind of creamy, fruity note. But you also have the fig leaf, so you got some green notes in here as well. Again, green notes, perfect for the spring. So So check this one out. It smells fan-flippin-tastic from the house of Diptyque. Again, this one is called PHILOSYKOS. Really quick before I move on to the next fragrance, guys, I always like to talk about sampling fragrances, niche fragrances, especially because they're more expensive. So if you guys are looking to sample fragrances, I highly recommend checking out Scent Split. Scentsplit.com. It's a tongue twister for me, so I have to say that slow. Check out Scentsplit.com for samples of most of the fragrances on this list are on the website. So you can get anywhere from a 2 to a 10 ml sample of fragrances to try out. If you see anything that you like on this list, I'll make sure I leave my link down below. That way, of course, you can check these fragrances out. Again, I understand that niche fragrances come at a higher price point, so I always recommend, if you can, sampling them first. So check out Scentsplit.com, and also if you use my link, you'll get 10% off of your order. All right, guys, so coming in at the 12th spot on the list this year, this one comes from the house of Homme, and this is called MONTABACO VERANO. Wow, a tobacco fragrance that works perfectly in the springtime. I really can't it's hard to describe this one, man, put it into words, but the tobacco is there, but you get a very light, clean, woody vibe that goes along with the tobacco. So it's not overpowering by any stretch of the imagination. It's one that you can definitely wear this time of year. It is perfect. You actually could wear the original MONTABACO as well in the spring, but I think this one is even better for this time of year. You have a nice opening in this one of grapefruit. I like the way the grapefruit works. Sometimes grapefruit does not work on my skin, but it works in this fragrance. And again, some light woods on the dry down, a little bit of suede and leather, but nothing, you know, that's too warm. It's not too warm where it would push this to being more of a fall or kind of scent. This is perfect for spring. So check it out from the house of Homme. This is MONTABACO VERANO. Guys, so coming in at the 11th spot, this fragrance comes from the house of Nishane, and this is called WULONG Chai. WULONG Chai, and why is this good for the spring? Because it has green notes as well as tea. Tea is another note for me that I really look forward to wearing when the weather starts to heat up, because tea tends to give this really kind of calming effect to fragrances. It's calm, but it's kind of warm at the same time. Not warm as like a spicy warm note, but warm as from the fact of it's very comforting. And that would probably be a better word to describe the vibe that I get from the note of tea most of the time in fragrances. And this is an amazing scent from the house of Nishane. It smells fantastic. So make sure you check this one out. If you've never done it before, again, we're talking about great fragrances for the springtime, and this definitely classifies as that from the house of Nishane. Again, this one is called WULONG Chai. All right, guys, so we're cracking the top 10, and coming in at the 10th spot on the list this year, this one comes from the house of by Kilian. This is called Moonlight in Heaven. Moonlight in Heaven from the house of Kilian. I picked this one up a little bit more recently. Man, I've been had this one on my radar for quite some time. I love the new look with the blue bottles from by Kilian. This is the only one I have in my extensive Kilian collection that has the blue. The bottle is gorgeous. The fragrance is gorgeous. It has a very unique pairing of mango, coconut, and there's a accord of rice in this fragrance. Really hard to explain what that rice does, but you need to check it out. It almost does what when you see an accord of wheat or a note of wheat used in fragrances. Rice kind of does the same thing in my experience. So make sure, guys, you check this one out. An amazing fragrance from the house of Kilian. Again, this is called Moonlight in Heaven. All right, guys, coming in at the 9th spot on this list, this fragrance comes from the house of Rosendo, and this one is called Oligarch. Oligarch. And to make this list move a little bit quicker, man, I'm just going to really try to sum these up a little bit quicker. Nice citrus opening. It's classified as a chypre, so you got the oak moss, vetiver, a little bit of leather on the dry down. But don't let those notes fool you, because it never goes like into that kind of fall, winter category. These are a little bit softer. Those notes are not as pronounced in the scent. Well blended, I guess, is the way that I would really define it. So the citruses are allowed to shine in here. This has black currant in it as well. Again, one that I think you need to get your nose on from the house of Rosendo. This is called Oligarch. All right, guys, so coming in at the 8th spot on this list, this fragrance comes from the house of Fragrance Du Bois, and this is called Oud VERT Intense. Oud VERT Intense. This fragrance was done by none other than Olivier Pochot. And this one, to sum this up really quickly, is nice citrus opening, nice vetiver dry down. And again, vetiver is the perfect note, the quintessential note in my opinion for a great spring fragrance. It comes off very, very citrusy, but at the same time very green from the vetiver as it starts to dry down. And that's what really makes this, to me, the classic fragrance, to where when it starts to get warmer outside and that spring air starts to really transition in. So check this one out from the house of Fragrance Du Bois. This is called Oud VERT Intense. All right, now coming in at the 7th spot, this is a fragrance I ranted and raved about for the past couple months from the house of Amouage. This is called Diamant. Diamant. This is becoming one of my favorite fragrances. Definitely one of my favorite Amouages. Oh my gosh, there it is, the oh my gosh factor. This one gets it 100%, man. Plum. You get peony flowers in the middle of this as well. And of course you got a little bit of incense and vetiver, but again, it never goes in that direction where it becomes too incensey. What I think would disqualify this to be a great spring fragrance. Although people of course tell you wear what you want, but I don't really like heavy incense fragrances when it's hot outside. But it has incense, but it's just enough in here to give this fragrance some character, the incense and the vetiver as it's dry down. This stuff is just amazing. I really want to encourage folks to check out Diamant because again, it's just an amazing fragrance. So make sure that you get your nose on this from the house of Amouage. All right, guys, now coming in at the 6th spot, this is a classic, definitely a classic fragrance. Very much known as like the quintessential niche spring fragrance from the house of Bond No. 9. This is called Bleecker Street. This is Bleecker Street, man. It's clean. The opening of this is very green and clean, but it has some spices in there as well. And of course that greenness comes from violet leaf. This fragrance is very reminiscent of fresh cut grass in a good way when it opens up, man. And then, like I always say, what I love about Bleecker Street is the fact that you get these very warm spices like cinnamon in here, nutmeg, and these gourmand elements, some vanilla in this. You get some caramel in this one as well. So it's just a very, very unique pairing of notes, but it really all combines to be one of the best spring niche fragrances of all time. And I have it in the 6th spot because there's some other ones I want to wear a little bit more because I wear this all the time, but it still deserves a spot on the list. So check this out from the house of Bond No. 9. Of course, this is called Bleecker Street. All right, guys, now coming in at the 5th spot, this fragrance is the first from this brand to make it on one of my lists. And this one is from the house of Electimus, and this is called Imperium. This is called Imperium. Now, the funny thing, if you've heard about this fragrance before, this is one of the best vanilla-based fragrances I've ever put my nose on. Somehow, this fragrance really smells like two very popular fragrances, which is Creed Aventus, and it also smells a lot like Hachivat from Nichane. But when you look at the note breakdown, there's really nothing in this fragrance that will really tie you to either of those fragrances. It has a very floral heart. It has jasmine, tuberose, some rose in here as well in the heart. Now it does have vanilla and it's very musky on the dry down. Maybe that's where the correlation is made. I don't know, but I would tell you that this thing smells fan-flippin-tastic, man. You guys have to check this thing out. I'm not going to call it an Aventus clone. I'm not going to call it a Hachivat clone. Although I think it may lean a little bit more towards the Hachivat side than Aventus. But listen, an amazing vanilla fragrance that's going to work because of the host of florals in the springtime. Guys, check this thing out from the house of Electimus. This is called Imperium. All right, coming in at the 4th spot, another classic, man. This one is called, from the house of Creed, Green Irish Tweed. And I think I would have to put, if I did an all-time best spring niche fragrances, this is probably going to be in the #1 spot. This stuff was released in the year of 1985, and it's still as good today as it was back then. This stuff is just magical, man. When you think about the season of spring, I think they did the best job, although I don't think that was their intention, of course, but just capturing what I think a spring should really, a fragrance in the spring should really smell like, what it should represent, it's in this bottle right here, man. Of course, you got the violet leaf, you have the iris, and you have the sandalwood. Those are the main notes to my nose. I don't really have to say much about this one. You guys know what this is, man. From the house of Creed, this is Green Irish Tweed. All right, guys, now coming in at the third spot, this fragrance comes from the house of Rosendo Mateo, and this is number 2 from the house of Rosendo Mateo. Now, this line has, it comes in numbers. I don't remember. I think it goes up maybe to number 10, maybe, this particular line. This is number 2. Really, to really put this simply, this is citruses, woods, and with a little bit of suede and leather. Although the suede and leather are very subdued in this fragrance, it really just gives it some character and performance. If you're looking for a fragrance that prominently features some citrus notes but gives you great performance, this is a scent that you guys need to get your nose on. That is why it's in the number 3 spot. You might even see this again on the summer list. A fragrance that features notes of suede and leather that can be worn in the warmer months of the year is a gem. So check this fragrance out, guys. This comes from the house of Rosendo Mateo, and this is number 2. All right, guys, now coming in at the number 2 spot, this fragrance comes from the house of Ramon Monegal, and this is called LAISLA Blanca. LAISLA Blanca, man, shout out to my guy at Quality Fragrances. He's the first person that I heard really talk about this one. We did a tag video last year, was perfect fragrances for white t-shirt fragrances, and he talked about this one very highly. So I checked it out. It's as good as advertised, man. I don't know, there's a very kind of clean, very clean aldehydic kind of opening on this scent. I get some coconut. I think there's coconut in this scent, white musk, a little bit of sweetness from tonka bean, maybe some almond in here as well. This stuff is absolutely flipping fantastic, guys. So try to get your nose on it. It's been a little bit harder to find than some other fragrances, and it's probably because of how good this fragrance is. So check it out from the house of Ramon Monegal. This is called LAISLA Blanca. All right, guys, and coming in at the number 1 spot on the list this year, my spring niche fragrances. This one comes from the house of Wilhelm Parfumery, and this is called Morning Chess. Morning Chess. Yes, this is going to put you in the mindset of Creed Aventus, but it's not a clone by any means. Some of the main notes in this are going to be bergamot, galbanum, and leather. This stuff is absolutely fantastic. It's something that you just have to get your nose on. I'm pretty sure if you like an Aventus kind of DNA, this is a fragrance that you are going to enjoy. It's highly complimented, just like most fragrances that kind of fall into that category. So make sure that you check this one out. This is some amazing stuff from the house of Wilhelm Parfumery. This is called Morning Chess. All right, guys, that's it. That's my time, man. I hope you enjoyed the list today as I gave you my top 15 niche fragrances for the year of 2022 that I'll be wearing this upcoming spring. As always, I appreciate your time and your attention to these videos. You don't have to watch, but you do, and I sincerely appreciate that. Now, don't forget to make sure you take a few moments to go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and share these videos out to some other folks that you think could use this information or find it entertaining. Because I'm your guy, the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell amazing. So until next time, guys, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.